Dr. Fujo, the chairman of Comito, Mr. Jimmy Kagoni, the chief executive and managing director of Comito, His Lordship the Bishop, investors, directors of Comito, investors, and customers. God is good. And all the time, yes, my name is as you have been told, is Munga, popularly known as the founder of Equity Bank. I think one of the reasons why my friend Jimmy Kagoni invited me is to come and give you the history or the story of the bank that's now one of the biggest banks in East and Central Africa, which was started in a small township in Kangema, in a room smaller than this area, with 5,000 shillings. It may sound incredible that 5,000 shillings could be the capital or could enable a crazy man like Munga to start a bank. Doesn't it sound incredible? Doesn't it? Those who think it's incredible, raise up your hands. Those who think it's possible, raise up your hands. I'm not seeing clearly. Some are afraid to either belong to this way or the other way. All that I'm trying to tell you is simply that impossible is possible. And this is what might have changed my life. I know my Lordship Bishop talked about Matthew 25. So he referred us to the Bible before he led us now word of prayer. But what changed my life is the leading from Proverbs 16:1. For those who may be carrying their Bibles with them, you see what it says. That to plan, the man plans and God assists all the way. So, you have a responsibility of planning before you say your prayers. Once you have planned, and you know what your plans are, then you can go to your God and pray Him to enable you, to clear the way for you, to apply your plans, or rather to implement your plans with His assistance for success. That is my interpretation about that very short verse of the Bible, Proverbs 16:1. And something else also triggered my thinking harder than I had thought before. When I read the same Bible, Proverbs 22:2. I'm not a preacher. Please, Bishop, don't get excited that I'm going to take your job. Proverbs 22:2. which says some of the very crazy things that you may not want to believe. It says that God created the poor and the same, and the poor and the rich the same way. Do you believe that? Do you believe in that? Then why do people become poor and others become rich? There must be something that happens for some to become rich and others to become poor. I don't belong to that class of poor. And I think you also don't belong. That's why you are here. The same Bible tells us in Proverbs 29 and 19, verses 19, that God created the poor and the rich same way and provided sight to both. This time there's an addition that both of them were provided with the sight to see. But again, there are some become rich and others become poor. Why does it happen? The difference comes about when you use your sight or the eyes and the mind you have to see things that are always negative, or you are quiet. So you are always mourning for one issue or another. You never engage your mind with anything positive. But again, there are some people who don't see problems. They only see positive things. They see opportunities like Jimmy Kagoni has seen. He has seen an opportunity of providing a solution to a problem or one of the most essential things that a human being needs in life, and that is shelter, a house. He's providing a solution. And it's through this solution, the provision of this solution, that this company is going to be very, very profitable. I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I knew tea farmers, juakalis, the so-called unbanked population of our country, particularly in the areas where I come from. They were unbanked and therefore they could not get financial services. The tea farmers will be given checks by KTDA, cross-check, account payee only. And the check is of 75 shillings, sometimes of 100 shillings. Again, they were not allowed, or rather, they could not open accounts in the banks of the day unless they had a minimum of 10,000 shillings in the account. So these farmers, majority of who were women, they will always come to my mother because they thought her son was a rich guy. And ask my mother to discount, or rather to cash on these checks, because his son is educated, he works for the government, he drives one of them rare cars in the village, then a Mercedes vehicle. Mercedes were rare in the place where I come from. Only one man who drove a Mercedes, and that was not any other than John Jeroge Mishuki, the chairman of KCB. So they compared me because I'm driving a Mercedes, being with the chairman of KCB, and something I liked. You know why? Why did I like that? Why would that be compared with the poor? And that created confidence, the perception that this young man that who drives a Mercedes, I was young, by the way, I was not even 40. He must be a very rich man because he drives a car similar to that of the chairman of KCB. So that also persuaded my thinking. Can I be a chairman of a bank? So my mother challenged me and said, now these ladies are bothering me. Every time you come, they bring checks. Sometimes you don't have the money. So they leave this place very annoyed. But I told my mother, look, these checks that we keep on collecting and I keep on giving you the money to give to the shareholders. I cannot bank them because it's account pay only. And I cannot be able to bank them in my account. So I'm now getting depleted of cash. So that problem, because of being nagged by my mother thinking that she took me to school, but I gained nothing. That although I drive a Mercedes, I'm not better than people in the village who don't drive anything. So I wanted to prove a point. Then I thought of what to do. Either to start a cooperative, savings and credit society. I thought that the governance is the case. I thought of something else. Then I went to see then the professor, George Saitoti, who was the Minister for Finance. May God bless him, rest his soul in eternal peace. And they told me, now, if you want to open a bank, you got to have 5 million shillings. I told him I can't get that because the government doesn't pay me very well. The government where he was actually the Minister for Finance. He was not a vice president. I think he was also a vice president then. But he told me quickly, if what you want is just to have those checks banked, from here, that's from the treasury, you know where the treasury buildings are, just walk straight to the AG chambers and open and register a building society and see somebody by name Omodi Bog or Omodi Bag or something. Can't remember. So I went there and I talked to that man and he told me, yes. Do you have 5,000 shillings? I said, yes. Do you have 10 subscribers? Yes. One of such a subscriber is my mother. Then I went around, I got 9 others, and I took the form back, and the following day I had a license to start a building society. Then I went downtown, I looked for a facility where I could open the bank. Welcome, Mheshimiwa. And I opened one. And then I started now mopping the checks from those unbanked individuals who are tea farmers and juakali. And within a month, also, I had over 1,500 people with the small balances here and there. And that is the genesis. That is the beginning of the big bank today you see in the streets. Now I started selling shares. Like now you are being told to buy shares in Promito. The shares I was selling, although worthless, It was, oh yes, it was a small, very small building society. I was selling it for 20 shillings. People who saw an opportunity, like I'm saying, they knew that one day, their 20 shillings would grow to big money. The cowards, or people who only see problems, they don't see opportunities, didn't buy. Now, to cut the long story short, when we became a bank in 2006, after a few months, we listed the building society. We made the building society we are allowed to make it a bank. So it became a bank, not a building society. Within 3-4 months, we were allowed to list now the bank as a bank. The share price discovery was in the first day, I think 40 shillings. The share that we are selling at 20 shillings, when we went to the Nairobi Stock Exchange to discover the value of the share, it was now double what people had paid when we were building society. And the majority of those people, of course, came from my village. They're the ones who trusted us, who saw the opportunity in this exercise. So after listing and getting a price of 40 shillings, within that year of 2006, that price had now increased to about 50 shillings a share. Now, the price of that share became too high and probably unaffordable to some people. So we had a split of the shares. And if you had one share, we gave you 2 shares. That means you had 3 shares. And the price didn't change. That those people who had bought the share at 20 shillings, now they have 3 shares. And each share is 50 shillings. How much do they have? 150. That's within 1 year. So as the bank became more profitable in the following years, then we had another split of the shares. Now to 3 shares per share. So those who had 3 shares from the original 1 share, they now had what? How many shares? How many? 5. 5 more shares. What did you say? 9 shares. At what price? 50 shillings. To go up and down. So how much would that be? 9 times 50 is what? 450. From how much? 20 shillings. That was what we sold originally at Kangema. So today, that share has been split several times. And I would like the Mheshimiwa to hear this. My village, that is Nyagatogo village in Muranga, is the richest village. The unbanked people, those who bought shares, because originally they were unbanked, they didn't have any bank account. And because we had provided them with a home for their savings, they would come and they are persuaded by the staff to buy shares. So there are people who bought shares, anytime they had a bonus or something, they would buy shares. So at one time, one of the drivers of KTDA who was transporting tea from one place to the factory, had so much shares and didn't know what to do with 150 million shillings. He was worth in one point. How much? Just imagine a lorry driver of KTDA with 150 million shillings. Does that not sound crazy? And because there were so many of those people, and coming from where we started, we say Nikiku, and you understand that language? Atenoragia. Those guys today, some of them who are now dead, they have left those shares owned by their children. They have a lot of money. Not only from my village, but all over. We went for marketing in London. I hope there's some people from London here. Can you raise up your hands? Oh, yes. We went to London. And we just wanted to open a bank in London. We found the capital required would be that high. And we are still a building society. But we took that opportunity to market equity shares in London. And those people who also saw an opportunity, and we talked to them, and of course these are people who would speak the language that I and others would speak, and we go for nyama choma here and there, and they bought some shares. I don't know whether you are among those. Are you? Can you come here and tell the story? Please do. Don't be shy. You can speak in any language. But because you are coming from London, you must have learned Queen's English. Anyway.
Well, I am shaking. Your distinguished guests, Bwana Peter CEO, Mheshimiwa Didi wa kwetu Murang'a, men and women of God, habari zenu asubuhi jioni ya leo. My name is Lydia. Our chairman came actually with you and another lady called Jane Mukabi and Wero, and I was a part of the tourage, so we took him round. And we had a few meetings in the UK. Yes, I remember. Yes, you are very young. You are very young then. And I am very much into that program of buying the chairs because I'm a part of the equity chairs. They have been going up even now. It's a crazy chair. And that is why I even want to promote the Primito chairs even now. Even this young man, when he came to the UK with that group there, we hosted him, and please buy the shares. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I didn't know you are here. So, the story of Primito, the way we have heard from the investors, and from the chief executive, and from a very wonderful young man who I think is the finance director, is an opportunity that very, very soon will transform your wealth from what it is today several folds. So it's worth the risk. Just as people from my village, they had to buy shares in those days. I think if I knew Kagoni, I didn't know you. If I knew you, and you had agreed to buy those shares, today you'd be a very wealthy man. Not that I'm wealthy, but I'm not poor. So I gave you those proverbs, the 2 or 3 proverbs. I talked about Proverb 22:2. I also talked about Proverb 29:13. And I talked about the proverb that changed my life. This is the planning stage in which you are. You are being told of an opportunity that exists. So use your sight that was provided to you by God for free. The sight is not only seeing. The sight is what? It's your mental capacity to see an opportunity and invest. Because what Kagoni is trying to do is to provide a solution to a problem, particularly for diaspora and even for us. When I buy a piece of land and I want to put up a house, and I'm employed either in my Juakari place, I have no time to go and supervise the construction, and I need a home. It is even worse for a diaspora. Yes, I know how relatives have taken advantage of diaspora. You send money, you are shown a piece of land in a video, you are told how it is in a very good place. Then you ask to send money because he has designed a good house for you. After every 2 months, he sent you a picture, and he has taken that picture from another building. Then you send more money, and then when you start saying, I'm coming because the house is almost complete, and when you complete, I'll come for Christmas, the guy disappears and tells you, no, don't come this time. You can't get there because it's raining, blah, 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 blah. Because he doesn't want you to come, to go there and see that nothing exists. But you have been sending money. Now, Prometo can do that for you. All that is required is, of course, he has promised. It's promise. I think it's the Italian word. Promise. Prometo is promise. Promise is that. Is that what it means, Kagoni? It's a promise. And for that, for the company to succeed, the governors must be right. And he has already addressed that issue. He must keep his promise. Because he doesn't want to fail. Already, Kagoni, as we know him, is an honest man. Keeps his promise. That's why he's short. He's not a tall man. He doesn't want to breathe polluted air. So he keeps low. And I'm sure we have our character from where we come from. And I think he comes from the same place where I come from. Our DNA is entrepreneurship and being honest, because you cannot succeed in business unless you're honest. Before, I think it was in a stock exchange. He was selling shares. So people would trust him with their money to buy shares. He would speculate for those who are trading in stocks. And his word was the Bible. And therefore people trusted him. That's how he became a friend, my friend for a long time. And now I'm, even his family, I'm very close to us. And tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. So, Kagoni, please keep it up. Thank you very much. And all those who have been invited, please, you are being told of opportunities that will transform your world. Thank you very much, and a good night.